Here are some trends that seem to be widespread across a variety of information agencies. Austerity, or the continuing substantial inflation in the cost of material purchasing by information agencies, especially libraries, which result in a situation where we are able to purchase less and less of more and more. Libraries are often inadequate to support continuing operations, especially in large research organizations. Price increases, especially for research-oriented periodicals, is a problem without resolution. The request for change in scholarly communications has resulted in little change as well, and the denunciation of for-profit publishers. Also, the declining value of the dollar adds impact to this as well. The changing scope. With now the advent of negotiations, debating, looking at lease materials versus purchase versus acquisitions, and the variety of methods of that, digital rights management, and even the acquisition of digital collections. So basically what's happening is the scope of collection development is broadening and broadening. And there's no end in sight for when this will become less of a changing organization within libraries. Outsourcing, or the order function, is often related to some sort of outsourcing of the collection development function. Like when we talked with Kathleen Sullivan, they were actually outsourcing a lot of their collection development to the vendor. Normally, outsourcing is based on a profile crafted by the institution or collection development, and the vendors are then purchasing and, in many cases, processing that to various degrees. The use of technology. Although there are some exceptions, most information agencies have automated their order procedure and eliminated manual files and records. The typical automated system is integrated into the ILS. While there may not be an explosion, there are a large number of new items, both in hard copy and digital. With these items being available for purchase, lease, separate purchase, or subscription, all these will put a different sort of demand on collection development staff. Although more heavily used by non-library information agencies and information centers, document delivery services provide an alternative to local ordering. For an example, a document delivery agency specializing in congressional hearings may provide these within 24-hour turnaround and save hours of work using more traditional approaches. Identifying reliable, cost-effective document delivery services and evaluating performance can be a challenge. Turnover rate among these services has been fairly high in recent years. Fewer suppliers. There are fewer vendors today than in the past. EBSCO is the only true large periodicals vendor. However, the internet has provided opportunity for new vendors to emerge as Amazon has created competition for a smaller number of national chain bookstores. Increased negotiation. The trend away from relatively firm price is particularly evident in the digital databases. Negotiation not only involves price, but acceptable use. Is the use limited to a single workstation, a physical building, a geographic area? Is it campus-wide? Can Office Campus students access the database? Can at-home people access the database? As hard copy materials migrate to a digital collection, packages and negotiation skills become more and more important. Along with these negotiations comes the contract. The sensible order professional will need legal advice in evaluating all contracts to see if they're acceptable and meet the requirements of local legal counsel. Services versus particular product. The trend is clearly away from buying a particular item to leasing a value-added package that includes services. Book vendors provide both the book and the processing necessary to make it shelf-ready. So we really are looking at purchasing both a product and a service. Cooperative purchases. Groups or cooperative purchasing has long been used to reduce purchasing costs. Larger quantities usually result in a lower price per item. Obviously, to be successful, the several participants must agree on what purchases and create specifications that are acceptable to all or a majority of the members. Cooperative purchasing is an established approach to give smaller firms more purchasing power by combining orders. Farmers co-ops have done this for years. In the last few years, more libraries have joined consortia, which then purchase items for members, with databases and periodicals being particularly popular. One especially interesting approach has been taken by California State Universities, which created a list of desired periodicals and then asked vendors to provide digital access to those titles, instead of the typical model where you buy, again, that package that has X number of your periodicals. So the purchasing process is a typical information agency begins with a selection decision. That decision may be made for an individual item, such as a particular novel, or for a group of items, a standing order, firm orders are orders that will be paid for if the library desired item is delivered within a reasonable time. Traditionally, most of what a library selects results in firm orders. Selection may be made by an information professional or by community members. Requests from a community member are reviewed by professionals and may or may not be approved. Approved requests may be sent to the order unit on a day-by-day, or they may be batched and sent on a regular schedule.